It's time to round up today's top stories in the exciting world of science with CTV's science and technology expert, Dan Riskin. Dan, hope you had a great weekend. Always good to see you.
Good to see you. I did have a great weekend. I hope you did too.
We sure did. Okay, Dan, appreciate this. And all three of us are parents here. So this is an interesting one. Kids whose parents are less reliable are less likely to take the kinds of risks that help them thrive. This is really an interesting thing, especially if you're a parent, to say, am I reliable enough?
Right. So I think about all the risks we expect our kids to take, like go up on stage and speak in front of your class, or perform in a talent show, or ask that girl out, or whatever that big risk is. It's good for kids to take risks, and sometimes they succeed and sometimes they fail. But their willingness to take risks is apparently tied to how much they feel secure at home and how much they feel they can rely on their parents. So in an experiment, they asked 150 kids about how reliable their parents were. Then they looked at how these kids played different video games. And in the video game, there was the opportunity to take risks. And what they saw is that kids that do not feel like their parents, you know, if you say you're going to be there at 6 o'clock to pick me up, do they show up at 6 o'clock or do they come at 6:30? That kind of a question would correlate with how willing they were to take risks in the video game. And so they think this is a bigger deal than we may have realized. We have to be there for our kids when we say we're going to be.
You got to have their backs to make them feel like they're, held up.
Maybe even if it comes to, hey, I'm going to get you this for Christmas, you better get it for them for Christmas. I guess it translates to so many areas, but such an important study. Meantime, Dan, scientists have developed a new model of the sun's 11-year cycles, and it suggests 2024's total eclipse is going to be amazing.
Yeah, so the sun goes through these cycles where it bursts out a ton of activity every 11 years or so, and we thought the next peak was going to be in 2025. It turns out it's going to be a little earlier according to this new model, 2024. That happens to be when a total solar eclipse will be visible across big parts of southern Ontario. Very exciting. That's April 8th. And so the hope is that when that total eclipse happens, we're going to see lots of corona, which is a really, you can see it right there. It's a very beautiful phenomenon. It should be better than usual because of this solar maximum. So we're very excited.
Lots of corona. Okay.
I know, yeah.
I feel like somebody's going to be tying themselves into that one.
Rhymes
won't
with
say who.
Or rhymes
but
with
I think it's
Sharona.
fairly obvious. Yeah, exactly.
The song? Okay.
That's right. I got it. My Sharona. I got that.
My Corona. Okay.
More than half of employees, though, Dan, it turns out, are using AI tools, but their bosses kind of don't know or maybe wouldn't even approve.
Yeah, so AI, ChatGPT, there are different tools. People are using it at work. 56% of Canadian respondents in a new survey say that they're using unapproved AI tools at work. And in fact, 28% of Canadians say they're using tools that are explicitly banned at work. So their bosses have told them, don't use this tool, and they're using it anyway. So this is part of a big conversation about how work is changing under AI. And I should just point out really quickly, 69% of employees in Canada who responded say their bosses haven't told them the rules. They haven't been clear about whether they should use things like ChatGPT. And so that's where it all begins.
Okay, fascinating stuff as always. CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin, always a pleasure. We'll chat with you next week. Take care.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll take a look at this work of art right now. One of Andy Warhol's famed works of Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger. It's going up for auction tomorrow afternoon at the Globe and Mail Centre, and it's expected to fetch maybe $130,000 to $175,000. However, if it follows suit with some of the other Jagger paintings in the collection earlier this year, this could fetch even more. It's even more impressive to stand right next to it.
Yes, the scale is so impressive. So joining us live now before the auction tomorrow is Rob Cowley, who's the president and Canadian art specialist at Cowley Abbott. Rob, great to have you with us in the studio again. You always bring some amazing one-of-a-kind pieces. Let's start with this one. I mean, appropriately titled Mick Jagger, because that is him. And tell us a story behind it, because it's very fascinating how he and Andy Warhol, you know, were actually kind of friends. They both signed this painting as well.
They both signed it. They met in the 1960s. They connected in the 1960s. Warhol really loved Mick Jagger a lot. He did multiple different kinds of prints of Mick Jagger. This is one from one of the series, and really captured him. It was actually during a time when one was staying at the other's home, and he took all kinds of Polaroids, Andy Warhol, and then created these incredible prints from that. And they're incredibly popular at auction. And so, as Nick said, between 135 and 175. But we have interest internationally actually on this work tomorrow.
And And I think once people really see it, Rob, I think it'll probably open up people's pocketbooks even more. You talked about some of the trends with some of the other ones. What have the other works similar to this gone for then?
Well, actually, we had one of the Queen Elizabeth works here last season with you, and we sold a set of 4 of those in the spring for just short of $1 million on behalf of the Winnipeg Art Gallery.
Right.
And so more than ever, Warhol's really been at the top of the market at auction for the past, I'd say, 20 years. His oil paintings, his originals, have sold for over $100 million.
Wow.
So quite an incredible market. Obviously, one of the most famous contemporary artists in the world. And so we expect there to be a lot of attention towards it tomorrow during bidding.
Oh my gosh, I bet it's quite remarkable. And turning to another piece, that's estimated to, be in that similar range is this huge one right behind you. Then we'll move to the little ones. This is the Guido Molinari Serial, 1964-66. Tell us more about this.
So this is what he's famous for. These striped works, very well known for that. This painting actually is very special. It comes to us from the Art Gallery of Ontario's collection. So they've deaccessioned it. We're happy to offer it on their behalf. He's one of the Quebec masters in Canada, and his works sell 6 figures. And so this work is expected to fetch between $125,000 and $175,000 tomorrow at the Global Mail Centre.
And Rob, talk to some people in our audience who are looking at this right now and saying, this is someone who put some tape on a board and painted some stripes. Talk a bit more about why this is so significant.
Well, he was a master of color, and a lot of the contemporary artists were. And so his experimentation with color and also with the association between these different lines. When you stand in front of his works and, larger works and smaller works, the color seems to move. So it really kind of brings you in. And he always, he experimented with these incredible colors, and he really became a master of these associations with color. And this is what he's best known for.
Okay, let's move to these other smaller ones. Nonetheless, stunning and beautiful. I really love this one by Lauren Harris called Lake Superior Sketch Number 3. If I had the money, Rob, I'd be bidding on this tomorrow. It's beautiful. One
of Canada's, actually at auction, the most valuable painting sold at auction by a Canadian artist was a Lauren Harris painting for $11 million.
Whoa.
This painting is valued at between $300,000 and $500,000. He was a member of the Group of 7. We sold one from the same collection, same subject matter, for just over $1 million. It's valued at between $300,000 and $500,000, but we expect it'll probably exceed that.
There's something just so distinctive about Group of 7 works, isn't it, Rob? It is stunning. And this next painting is Group of 7 adjacent, as you described it.
Emily Carr. So Emily Carr, of course, who is associated with the Group of 7. So size is always important when we're valuing artwork. So this smaller work by Emily Carr is valued at $70,000 to $90,000. But our sale also includes a large totemic work by the artist, is valued at $250,000 to $350,000. We also sold a canvas by her last fall for about $3 million. And so definitely these four of the most more popular works in the sale that takes place tomorrow.
Okay, and just to clarify, these paintings come with the frame, right?
Oh, they do. Yes, we do throw in the frame. Absolutely.
All right, that's good, because framing's expensive.
It is.
That
absolutely.
can put you out a bit more money. All right, so this is taking place tomorrow. Where can people get more information, Rob?
They go to cowleyabbott.ca, and the auction is at the Globe and Mail Centre at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and all of our information is at cowleyabbott.ca.
Okay, excellent. Always a pleasure to have you with us, and thank you for bringing in these amazing pieces of art.
This has been really stunning. Really, I can't take my eyes off this Mick Jagger work right here. Rob, thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Good luck with the auction. All right, well, we have a real special treat. Not only are we getting treated to this here in the 299 Queen Street parking lot this morning, but we are talking to Cohen Lane this morning from Whitby, who's doing something remarkable and has done something remarkable, and you're continuing to do that here. He's got Cocos, say the name again?
Cocos Coco Bar, or the fundraising name, Cocos Coco for Kids.
Right, there it is. Cohen is here with me this morning in the parking lot of CP24. I'm adding a little more whipped cream just to kind of cool it off so I can drink this hot chocolate. But let's talk about this Coco for Kids. Where'd you come up with the idea for this, Cohen? Because you're helping kids out with something that warms the heart as well.
I came up with this because, well, if you just ask anybody, they always have a story to sick kids, and it just inspired me to do this. And also my cousin, he had a major operation there, and it really inspired me to do this. At a very young age, I really wanted to do this, and it's nice now that I get to.
So you've been doing this for a couple of years now. What has the response been like, and what do you hear from people when they come and sort of come and buy a cup of hot chocolate and knowing they're helping out a hospital as wonderful as sick kids?
They are very surprised. Sometimes they think that it just goes to us and not to sick kids. But I tell them again, and they are very surprised, and they enjoy the hot chocolate with also helping out sick kids, and that really helps.
And tell us about this bar, because it's kind of portable. You can take it anywhere. I mean, it's here in our parking lot today, but what do you do with this? How does it all work?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure how it works is you just basically unscrew everything and put it back up.
Right.
The side is separate.
Yes, okay.
And this morning we had to put everything up together and yeah.
All right, I love it. So let's talk about how much money have you raised so far, and do you set a goal each year, or what do you do?
So far I have set my goal, yes, and we have passed our goal.
Congratulations, what's that?
It was $7,500. Now we've raised $8,000.
That is amazing. Okay, let's walk over to the bar over here with the sprinkles and everything.
Okay.
What do you recommend? How do you make a cup of hot chocolate? If you were going to say, Cohen, I just want the best cup, what do you recommend?
Maybe some of these to make it look good.
Okay.
Some of these. And some crushed candy canes.
And let's bring your parents in too, because Karina and Jason, they're here, the proud parents as well. I'm just going to add a little bit of blue sprinkles here. You're raising a great son here, Jason. This must be pretty amazing. Karina, congratulations to you as well. What is this like to see, Cohen had this idea, he wanted to help out sick kids. Obviously, you had a connection there. What's that been like, watching him flourish and watching him help other people?
For me, it's been crazy because it started very innocently. It was supposed to be his goal was $350 the first year, and it just blew up into this. But I think it's him and his personality that brings it out for people that want to come out. It's been fantastic.
11 years old, Karina. Did you ever think you'd have an 11-year-old son who was sort of helping out a hospital like sick kids?
Not to this degree, but to be honest, this is kind of in his nature, so it didn't take us totally by surprise, but the caliber took us by surprise for sure.
Yes. Yeah. So where can we find this Coco for Kids stand going forward?
It's in Whitby, where we're at our house.
Erickson Drive?
Yep, 31 Erickson Drive.
And is it every weekend? Is that what I understand?
Every weekend until December 18th.
December 17th?
17th.
From 1 to 4 p.m.
1 to 4 p.m.
And yes.
Saturday and Sunday.
And just really quickly, what's the recommendation? When people show up, what's the contribution? How do you do it? How does that
It's a
all
minimum
work?
of $2.
Okay.
And it's whatever you want to donate after that. There is some mugs you can buy and stuff like that.
Oh,
that
let's
you
see the mug, yeah.
If you do a $50 more donation, you get a beautiful mug.
That's amazing.
And there's also a chance to get a golden ticket inside of it.
That's right. And all of our
Very cool.
sponsors here paid for the mugs to get made, so that way the donations are 100% to sick kids.
Oh, that is amazing. Listen, Karina, Cohen, Jason, congratulations. Cohen, especially you. This is amazing. Really nice to meet you. You're doing some great stuff here. So again, look out for Coco for Kids out in Whitby. Thank you so much. Some of the top figure skaters around the world skating their way here for a new Stars on Ice tour.
That'll take place next year, but joining us live now this morning for a look at what's in store is legendary Canadian figure skater Elvis Stojko. Welcome to our studio, Elvis. It's such an honor to meet you in person.
Thank you.
I mean, you were literally like Elvis on ice to me as a kid. I mean, we revered you. Figure skating was the only thing we watched during the Olympics, and you were front and center. So why have you lent yourself to Stars on Ice year after year? I know that Kurt Browning, your old foe, but now friend, is choreographing it. So what can we expect from the show coming up next year?
Yeah, we're really excited. I mean, Kurt's retired last year, and next year's going to be exciting because he's going to be directing and having his ideas. And he already contacted me saying, hey, I've got some ideas. What's your plans? And kind of working together. And it's amazing because I wouldn't be here without him and vice versa. Over the years, you're only as good as your competition. And we had such a great rivalry and a great friendship. And now we get to share that on the ice with Stars. So it's a lot of fun.
So how do you find that, Elvis? Because the competition's over, but you still want to perform at a high level. How do you prepare yourself mentally for performances like this when you know you're not competing for a gold, for example?
That's a great question because it's something like I'm a competitor. That's why I'm, like we talked earlier about the racing cars, but it's just about going every night and doing the best you can for the audience that's there. And every night's different. Every audience is different, and it's the experience that you want to create with the audience. And that's something you go out there, you have that mindset, I'm going to do my best performance tonight. You want to express and enjoy and be an artist, but you still want to hit your marks and not make mistakes and do the best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And that really is telling for when you have passion to do something. And you've had that passion since you were like 4 years old. I read that you woke up similar to us around 4:30 in the morning to drive all the way, an hour or so to practice and get on the ice at 5 a.m. So what is your training like these days? I mean, how has your body changed and what's it like training today on ice? Is it the same? Is it different?
It is different. One, because I'm not doing all the big jumps, but the thing too, at my age now, you have to be very cognizant of it. So the recoup times are a little bit longer. I still train high intensity when I'm getting ready for tours. Like we're on the winter tour right now, so I'm training almost every day, but not as long. And then I'm also training for the physicalities of racing, downforce race cars. So I'm doing both of those, and I'm still doing my kung fu to help both and be ready for both.
Oh,
You're like a multi-sport athlete, really,
Yeah.
when you think about it that way, Elvis.
That's what really cross training is,
Yeah.
and that's what I always did. Either being in a race on a dirt bike, helping my skating, doing martial arts. You're not just lifting a weight. It's all about understanding body mechanics, understanding your body, how it works, and then you apply those things that you learn technique-wise throughout everything. I take things I learned from skating to martial arts, back to the racing, and all around, and you just become a well-rounded athlete.
Right.
So would you describe yourself as an adrenaline junkie? Because obviously, you were the first person to successfully land that quadruple double jump in 91. I mean, that's got to be exhilarating, taking a jump, and obviously you've trained for how to land, but when you're behind a car, let's talk about your passion for motorsports.
It's something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, and I'll tell you, at speed is where I feel comfortable. I was racing in Spa recently in Belgium and racing a Revolution car, 500 horsepower downforce car, doing 268 kilometers an hour.
Right here.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm racing with a team here in Canada called Really Racing, and the gentleman, Stefan, that owns the team, he's been at the top level in racing in European championships, world championships. He's from Germany. I jumped in, there's Stefan right there. I jumped into the car, adapted really, really well, went to Belgium, got invited by Revolution Cars, and ended up getting 2 podiums in fastest lap. And
whoa.
Yeah, and so now we're building sponsorship to continue this, and hopefully one day, run LMP3, LMP2 in anywhere in the States or in Europe and race professionally, and I've always wanted to do that since I was a kid.
Pretty exciting. Well, listen,
I love
Elvis
that.
Stoica, good to talk to you not only about your racing, but of course about Stars on Ice coming up in the winter here.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us here on Breakfast again today. Good to talk to you.
Such an honor to meet you. Thank
Pleasure.
you,
Thanks for
Elvis.
having me.
Indeed. All right, thanks very much.
All right.
Food is a big part of the festive season, but those with allergies can have a tough time when attending events around the holidays. An estimated 2.5 million Canadians live with food allergies, and another 7 million have food intolerances. Now, there are a few tips to keep in mind when hosting this holiday to ensure that everyone feels welcome and safe around the table. Joining us now to talk about being mindful and inclusive of guests with food allergies and show us one of his favorite recipes is celebrity chef Chuck Hughes. Thank you for being here this morning.
How are you?
I'm good. We were talking about in the break. Sometimes I say I have trouble finding my way around the kitchen. I'm trying, but this is sort of an added layer that's beneficial for me because I have a lot of food allergies.
Yeah.
And it kind of changed my life when I discovered what I was allergic to. But when I'm asked, and we were talking also that a lot of the time you're asked before you go into a restaurant, do you have allergies? I often say no because for me, they're at the point of discomfort if I have something, I always feel bad later. But you're talking about how you can have a sort of festive gathering and be inclusive of people who even maybe don't want to say they're allergic to things.
Yeah, exactly. I think, basically we want to encourage people to be allergen conscious hosts for the holidays. So we've got the Everybody's Invited campaign where we, you want to be aware of people's allergies. Like you said, you've got a couple allergies yourself. Some are minor, some are a little bit more major. So it's important when you're having people over, you want to know what type of allergies, the severity, so you can kind of tweak your meal or maybe not serve things that you were going to serve before or just rearrange.
And probably not as hard as you think to do, right? With some simple substitutions?
Exactly. So this is what I would call an allergen-friendly recipe where it's pretty basic, it's delicious, it could feed a lot of people really quickly during the holidays. And so basically what I've done, it's the end result is here. It's kind of like a savory breakfast bake. So I toast my bread with a little bit of Old Bay seasoning with olive oil. Then we add, I know we got to move here, so
that's okay.
We've got our
we're all hungry here in the morning,
exactly.
so I love this.
No allergy to mushroom, right?
Nope.
Perfect. So I just add the mushrooms in. I would mix this in here, and everything would still kind of be hot if we were doing it in real time.
Smells great too. What's in with the mushrooms?
So there's a little bit of thyme, a little bit of parsley, olive oil. So there is eggs. So I don't know. I have these little. Spoons. All right,
Smart, so you can let people know if
exactly.
That's an issue.
So we have, contains eggs, contains wheat for the bread.
Oh, wow.
There's a whole bunch of different ones here, and obviously these are nice, fancy little spoons, and they've been engraved. But at home, you can make it festive with, you could just put a little Christmas ribbon and write contains eggs. You can make any type of little piece
and that's neat because it gives people options, right? So they come to a table. Sometimes people go, I don't know if I can have anything, so I'm not going to have anything, and they'll sneak them into their purse or their handbag.
Exactly.
But here they can say, okay, well, this spoon has told me that maybe stay away from this and go to something else.
Exactly. And I think, when you're having people over, first thing, you want to make sure that they either don't have allergies, or if they do, which ones they do have, so you can make sure to label everything properly or change your menu. And you know, I think the labeling is really, I mean, for me, I've got 2 young kids, I've got a restaurant, you know, hi, reservation for 4 tonight. Any allergies?
Yeah.
Literally first question, because I'd rather know in advance, be prepared, and be able to accommodate the guests and not make anybody feel unsafe or scared or nervous. You know, cross-contamination, that's another big one.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, as you're prepping, when you're placing the dishes, when you're doing all that, you want to make sure, you know, if you've got fish on the cutting board and you're going to be prepping vegetables after, I would suggest vegetables before fish, but I'm just saying if it happens, you know, you want to switch your cutting board or you want to wash all your tools. So cross-contamination, making sure that everything's labeled properly, you know, you make everybody feel welcome, feel invited.
We have this sense that there are so many more allergies these days, but it really is just that we're more aware, we're more knowledgeable, and then we can take proactive measures, right?
I mean, for us in the restaurant business, 10 years ago, you had an allergy. We're like, I think that's the door.
Oh, no.
You know, and now because of the way the world is, and like you said, it's not that people have more allergies, it's that we know about it. You know, back in the day, like, I don't feel good when I eat chocolate. Give me more chocolate. You know?
I still kind of do that. I'm allergic to coffee.
Let's
chocolate.
not talk about your allergies, okay?
I still eat chocolate.
So, pear juice, apple juice,
raw
celery.
apple and pear. But some people are sometimes embarrassed to say it. Like, I'm sometimes embarrassed to say I'm allergic to apples or pear. But if I went to a gathering at your place and it said, oh, this has such and such in it, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to avoid this and enjoy the rest of it. So it is about being inclusive. How can people find out more tips on this? You have a lot of social presence.
Yeah, so there you go. Look, this is the last little, well, not the last little touch, but you would add the eggs, mix it all up, put some herbs, pop it in the oven. But you can go on everyone'sinvited.ca, and there's this recipe, there's other recipes, there's tips, tricks, and ways how to make people feel welcome when entertaining this holiday season and keep people safe.
Well, you make me feel very welcome, so I'm either going to show up at your house or Le Garde Manger.
Hey, come to my house.
Okay, let's
come to my house.
Happy holidays, Chuck.
Cheers.
We're going to set it to break. We'll be back with much more on CP24 Breakfast. This may be gone because I'm getting hungry.
And
no apples or pears in here.
Yeah,
right?
you're good.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Can I put a little spice on here?
There you go.
This CP24 segment is brought to you in part by EpiPen. Everyone's invited.